Hi everybody, welcome to this video tutorial. In this video I'm going to explain to you how to carry out all the asset management operations, set up an ongoing monitoring operations for the assets which belong to your company. So here on the Valeron desktop app, I will come to menu and I will click on vehicles and assets. Now within the vehicle and asset management module, we have several different tabs. As you can see on top here, we have our asset register, audit, and reports for the assets. We also have the vehicle setup, map, and the fleet reports or fleet setup. So we'll start first and foremost with the asset register. And as you can see here, we have a simple list showing us all the different properties of the assets in a particular company. If I want to add a new asset, I can simply come here and click add or export, and I can say add a new asset. This allows me to add one at a time. I can indicate all the information, for example, the description of the asset, the registration number, what type of asset it is, whether it's a vehicle, a building, land, that kind of thing. The location, meaning the company location where it's located, the purchase date, purchase price, life expectancy, which allows us to calculate the depreciation of the asset, so that we know the value of our asset when it's time to dispose of the asset, whether it's via sale or via just actual asset disposal. We can indicate the asset supplier, the status as well, which is also very important. You want to indicate that something is either active, which means it's fully in use, or it's stolen, lost, damaged, out of service. You can indicate all the different assets. And then you can also indicate other information such as the repair, maintenance contact, salvage value, depreciation method, and so on and so forth. Depreciation method, by default, the system uses straight line depreciation, which basically divides the value of your asset, or let me say the purchase value minus the sell-off value divided by the age of the asset in terms of the lifetime which you indicate. It's a very straightforward method, but I'll just come here quickly and show you something. I'll just come and click here and I'll just show you a quick snapshot of what the asset management system is supposed to help you with. As you can see here, the first thing is that the asset management system is supposed to help you effectively and efficiently create a registry of all the assets containing the reference numbers, registration numbers, images for reference, purchase and ongoing value, as well as depreciation. Another advantage of it is it's supposed to help us determine which staff members are responsible, which staff members or service members are responsible for the asset, at what time also, so you can log all of that on an ongoing basis. We're also supposed to be able to, we should be able to track the life cycle of each asset by monitoring its conditions and its status, if it's used, damaged, in repair, maintenance. This allows your company to have a very good view or very good idea of all the value of all these assets over the lifespan of each and every one of them. You should be able to track each and every one of these so that you are not in a situation whereby you are unable to account for particular assets that may go missing or be sold off by staff members who are operating or behaving unethically. You should be able to get rid of all of that by carrying out continuous or timely audits of your assets in order to make sure that everything is up to standard with regards to the value and the condition of all of your assets. So yes, you should be able to track the cost of repairs as well, maintenance, in order to determine the lifetime cost of each asset as well. And last but not least, you should be able to carry out, as I mentioned, ongoing assets to determine and reconcile the value, the condition, the responsibility, and the location of each asset over time. This allows us to carry out all of these particular tasks to ensure that your company's value, the value of all your company's assets, are as accurately tracked as possible throughout day-to-day operations, as well as on a daily, monthly, quarterly, and annual basis. Now, I will come back to the software. So as I mentioned, you have to enter all these different fields. You can leave some blank. As you can see, these ones which are indicated in bold have to be indicated. They cannot be left out. But yeah, you can either add one by one, or obviously you can come and do an import of the asset list via an Excel spreadsheet. And I will show you in our next video how to do a tagging of each asset via the mobile app. So yeah, so I can come here and view all the different properties of our assets. As you can see here, we're only seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, a few properties here: description, registration, number, all that. Where we can look at the current value, purchase invoice, we can view the category, staff member who's assigned to. All these different properties can be viewed when you select these show columns or when you click on an individual item. Last but not least, I can simply come to one of them and then right click on here, and I can say view my depreciation history, and I can just simply say search. Let me just quickly have a look at it if I have any. And I'll be able to see the ongoing depreciation. As you can see, this particular Lenovo IdeaPad has a depreciation of 180 kwacha every single month. It was bought on the 22nd of March 2024, and so its initial value was 7,680. That was the purchase price, and its current value now in 2026 is 3,540. So that is how you're able to basically view the depreciation of your assets over time. You also have the purchase price, which is the total purchase price of all your assets, the current value of all your assets, which shows you the current value at this very moment, the salvage value, in case you want to look at what you can earn by selling off all of your assets. And yeah, that's how you're basically able to look at your asset register. Now, one of the most important things, or the most important thing, is the ongoing auditing of your assets. Now, this is where you're able to look at the condition of your assets over a time period. You can carry an asset audit on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, annual basis, even as often as you'd want. So I'm going to come and click up here and click on the asset audit. And by the way, as I mentioned before, you do have a mobile app. We do have a mobile app which allows you to quickly tag and audit your assets over time and produce stickers which allow you to basically view the status and the condition and the value of your assets on a more effective and time sensitive manner, as opposed to using a computer. As you can imagine, it's not easy to move around with a computer to tag assets and to audit them. So in the next video, or in the last video, we will explain how to do the audits. So yeah, so here we have an asset audit. I've clicked on all assets audit. I can either create a new one up here, but I just simply selected an existing one here called all asset audit. So if I want to click a new one, I'll just click up here and I'll be able to create a new one. Otherwise, I'll come here and I'll just select the existing one, which is all asset audit. And I'll simply click on search, and it will show me all the different assets I have. So what we'll do here is we're going to have a look at the Toyota Mark X. Let me just close this here. So as you can see, we have the Mark X, which currently is being audited or was audited by Chanda. The pre-audit status, meaning the status before it was audited, was that it was awaiting repair, but it's currently active. As you can see, the audit isn't actually done. It's still saying no. We can also view the location of where the audit took place, and we can also set the value. So the pre-audit value wasn't indicated by whoever entered the asset at the very first time, but now we can indicate the actual value here. So now we've indicated that the reconciliation value of the Mark X is now 60,000. You can also indicate the custodian, meaning who had the asset before it was audited. As you can see here, nobody was assigned to it, and so it had nobody. It's blank, and then we can indicate who's now responsible for it. So this allows us to actually choose the individual, either staff members or suppliers, who are responsible for it at any one time. So I'll just come and say Alex Banda was responsible for it before. So I can just select it and say Alex Banda was responsible for it before. Now we can come here. We can basically carry all our audits for all the assets. We can actually even see that we have color coded the statuses. So if something's in service, you can see it's just showing in orange. Damaged, obviously, is a bad condition, and then we can view active as green, obviously, because that you want to make sure that all your items as possible, or as many as possible, are either showing green, sometimes orange, but red is always a bad thing because you don't want assets to be damaged or to be lost. Same thing with the reconciliation value. You want to make sure your values are actually indicated by all your auditors. You want to be able to always know that the value of your assets is being tracked over time. In this particular audit, as you can see, the values are all blank, which is a very, very bad thing. But obviously, none of them have been indicated yet. So obviously, the auditor is still saying no. You can always change the reconciliation value to match whatever the value is at this particular point, so you're able to know that it's less or more than the pre-audited value. So that's how you carry out a particular audit. I will indicate, like I said in another one of my videos, how to do an audit on the mobile app, so that as the administrator are able to see the value or the audit results on your computer, while your staff members are carrying out audits on their mobile devices to update the system on the current status of all of your assets. So yeah, that is how you carry an asset audit over time. But before I do move on, I'm going to show you what an overview of an asset audit looks like. This is a very, very key part of the asset audit reports. It allows you to see basically how all of your assets have been audited for each particular branch. I'm going to just select vehicle audit up here. And what I'll do when the table loads, I can click here on overview. And we'll quickly see a nice little summary report for the particular audit that we've just carried out. So the first thing you'll see on the top here is the dates for the audits. Basically, we only carried out one day of auditing on the 17th of February 2026. We can then see the total assets, which is 23, involved in the audit. But of all those 23, only 8 were actually successfully audited, which gives us a completion of 17.39%. And the value of all the assets of these 23 assets is 273.804. The audited value is 112.500. That's the value of these 8 assets. And the unaudited value is 161.304. We then get this particular very useful table where we can view all this information but broken down according to each branch. So you can see the total assets for each branch, the total assets that are audited, the completion for each branch, the total value of those assets in each branch, as well as the audited value, as well as the unaudited value. This, as I mentioned, allows us to see basically the percentage completion. If you want to be able to see, for example, how well your audit is going according to each particular branch in your company, this is a really, really nice table to give that outlook. Next, we have some useful charts here, some very useful charts here. So what I'll first quickly show you is how we can view the status of our audit, or the status of the assets in the audit. As you can imagine, you have different statuses of the assets, like lost, you have damaged, out of service, under maintenance. So this is basically telling us that the percentage of all our 23 assets, 4.35 are lost, 4.35% of the assets are lost. 8.7% of the assets are active, and 69.57 are unaccounted for right now, because as you can see, a large number of the assets have not been audited yet. If I scroll down here, I can view the same chart, but now in tabular form. You can view a table showing us everything we've seen in the chart above, but now in a table. And obviously, for each of the charts, you have a simple export button allowing you to export to Excel for your convenience. You can also view now the value of each status by the value of each asset viewed according to the status. So what we can see here is that the total value of all active assets is 62,000. The total value of unaudited assets is 154,366. Obviously, this is the value of all assets that haven't been audited yet. We have 50,000 worth of assets that have been damaged. This is something that you'd want to look at. It's very critical for you to be able to know the value of all your damaged assets, your out of service assets, your under maintenance assets. You want to be able to reduce this, obviously, to make sure that all your assets are active instead of being either in one of these states in which they're not being used by your company effectively. So once again, we have the table showing us the same information but in tabular form. We then have the value of each asset for each branch. This one viewed already in this table up here. So we can just skip that one. The percentage of assets for each branch as well. This is telling us what percentage of assets belong to each branch. So headquarters contains 56% of all assets, whereas branch Lusaka only contains 17.39%, which is basically straightforward. Then we have the percentage of assets, asset type. Oh yeah, so this is now your asset type. So where you have vehicles versus furniture versus IT equipment, you're gonna be able to break it down and say 8.7% of all assets are vehicles, whereas 13.04 are equipment. But more importantly, you want to come here and view the value. So here you can see IT equipment is 55,784, whereas vehicles comprises 108,000 of all the assets. Then yeah, you can view by category, but this isn't really that useful for you guys. Once you actually view the assets by the value by asset type, you have a very good idea of where the value of all your assets lies in terms of what types of asset they're broken down into. So yeah, this is a very useful report allowing you to view exactly how your asset audit has gone. Very useful report, allows you to see the progress of all your assets. So as you are going and as you are undertaking an asset audit, you will be able to see the progress, the completion percentage, and the value. so that you're able to determine how useful you are taking advantage of all your assets on an ongoing basis. Now, when I come in asset or asset reports, and with asset reports, you'll be able to see the particular value of your assets. It's a very important thing, as obviously every time you audit your assets, you're able to see the new status or the new value or the new condition of your assets. You are also able to view them via category, via asset type, via asset. This particular situation, I'll click on. I want to view the categories. So here you can see I have I want to view the asset value reports. I'm going to say yes, asset value report, and here I will say I want to view them by let's say by category, or let's say by asset type, by actual individual asset. So you can see here, obviously I have a full list here, and I want to just be able to break it down. So let's say I want to just view asset types. I mean furniture and IT equipment. So as you can see here, when I'm just looking at the value of my furniture and IT equipment, I can see here the tabletop, I can see here the Canon, the Lenovo IdeaPad, the full-size mirror. I can also compare the value on this particular table here. So I can see that my Lenovo IdeaPad is the most valuable item, valuable asset. I also have my Dell CPU showing here. I also have my desktop printer showing here. So you can see the value of all the different assets simply by selecting the different categories, as you can see, or asset types in this particular case. I can even specify the branch if I want to just look at assets which are located at branch Lusaka or branch headquarters. But in this case, I'll just stick to furniture and IT equipment. As you can see here, you can also see the trend over time. So if you look at here very quickly, you can see the value. So the initial value of the Lenovo IdeaPad was that much, and as time has gone down, as you can see, we're using straight line method of depreciation, and so obviously the value will always be going down, down, down all that way. You can also see when Dell CPU was bought. This is around January. January 2025, and you can see how its value is slightly going down. Same thing here with the Canon M582 desktop printer, was bought around July 2025, and its depreciation has gone down. So that's how you can compare the depreciation of all your assets going over time, as well as you can view the current value of each and every one of them. You can also come here and look at a table showing as well the current value of each of your assets. So we have as well as we just mentioned the Lenovo. This table is actually the same as the graph up here and here as well. Just allows you to view the different values of each and every one of the assets. So yeah, you can view the assets value over time. You can also view the status. If I click here on status, as you can see here, we can simply compare. This is showing us the same items. Oh no, same items. Nope. Let me just quickly click on asset and say show me the category. Oh yeah, this will simply just redo all your assets, redraw the chart showing you all your assets according to its status. So here, let's go and say by asset type. So if you look at cost versus revenue, we're able to say, okay, the cost over time of our, let's say, IT equipment is currently just about 500, or actually 500 on the dot, and the cost of vehicles is 1,000. This would be the cost of all of your repairs, your maintenance, any cost you want to add whenever you are whenever you're carrying out usual day-to-day maintenance and repair activities. I should show you that from here in the register. If I came here to Toyota Mark X and right click here, I would say add a new status entry. So as you can see here, the status for the Mark X is saying awaiting repair. So I'll click here and say, okay, status currently is that it's costing us, I will say it is under maintenance, and I'll say it has gone, for example, to get a tire change. I will then indicate that it's being carried out by, we can say, Chipo Shambweka, and the third party or the company where it's being done is, let's say, Fortress Media, just for example. It's been approved by, let me find Emmanuel Chalwe, and we can see the current cost of this one is going to be 500. So that's how I'd be able to indicate the cost of maintenance for this particular Toyota Mark X, and I'll click save there. So yeah, so that is how you are able to enter any of the costs associated with your particular assets, so that when you come to the asset reports, you're able to see the total cost of each asset over time.